Began, he says, now what is the Bechina Paraduma? Shenisbecha lemachloikes KORACH. Be'isa be'pesek decha belam and the nisbecha beparshas para achar machlokes KORACH. What do the two of them have to do with it? With each other? Below Yada, so he says that the question over there, they didn't know that the chok of the Paraduma Tichi Yarka Para, so it's like an atonement, Gedola al Yisrael. And so he continuously has this. Where does it work? It works on. It actually is done outside of the temple. The question is that what it needs to be done is working on the outside. Why? That's the reason why. He says, and this is where we're at, so here you have a tremendous perud. This is really the main thing that death means. So immediately when there's no penimius, and it's gone, the Chitzonim immediately grab onto it, the side of Tuma. That what we do is actually dealing with what's b'chutz. That's what it does. This is the chukos, the Torah, chukos hakakti, and I carved them out. What does that mean? Is that I will gain wisdom. And I'm still looking for the panemius of these ideas. Remember that yesterday I said on this phrase, Amarte achachma. So what we need to be able to understand how to purify these things which are on the outside, or to bring them in, that's what part of his theme here. He says that it's not that easy. V'hi rechoko mimeni. Ki be'emes inyan zecha the kasha chitzonim al the benimius, sonius the benimius, the haidach of the mistakel b'kol davar, to be able to actually look into every occurrence of your life, and you can use that, he says, to gain yichud. So he says that he's really always talking about the negative things in our life, the obstacles in our lives. And we get involved in the obstacles and we fight the obstacles. But actually there's an energy there that's beyond that. And you could use the obstacle itself as an elevator to take you to a place beyond the obstacle alone, which is not so easy, but that's what has to happen. So this is something which is hidden. It's tremendously high. So a person that devotes himself to getting into the Torah, and this is what happens as a result of learning Torah, is that it makes the good in us stronger, and naturally the other becomes weaker. Like that phrase, if that comes as an awful. Hatov al the Yetzahara, so Hatov al the Yetzahara, al Yedei Zerem is Gaver Bechinas Malchus, and this causes Malchus the Kedusha Shehiba Bechinas at Simsum. That's interesting. He says, what is the Malchus Kedusha? It's the concept of the Tzimtzum. Tzimtzum is the concept of what we say the Tikkun, which is the Hismatus of the light. Is that that's what actually happening here. The Malchus Kedusha, instead of overwhelming us or being completely dark, at any rate, let's see what he says. Tzimtzum goes through Tzimtzum. Because this is, the seichel is there, maybe very small in your life, in our lives, in comparison to the burden, the obstacle. And so therefore you have to work on it. And how do you work on it? So he said through study of the Torah, that's a theme there. So everyone according to his ability to break. He sees the word break, the tivus of his heart, his lusts, so therefore the more that you get under control, your passions, or let's say, he used the word tivus, so your tivus, with your libidinal drives, I'm using these words now, even a person that can break that, now this is another idea, I think, that have to work with. So a person, let's say a person is able to get himself under control, but nonetheless, it requires the tikkun of, I'm trying to work with this idea, the tzimtzum b'sichlo, to narrow his ability to maintain himself, shelo yaharos agavul, so not break through the boundary, the histak b'masha ein lo rishus, to look at something that he's not supposed to look at. Recall shechein, and certainly he says, even a person who still has all of these tivos. So I'm looking at the definition, which I can't quite get here, is that the tzamtzem sichla, to limit down, to contract his vision. Now, his sichlo, his mind, sometimes mind. Is this where Rabbi Memran is talking about monkey talk? I'm not sure. Simson and sichlo shado yaharos, he shouldn't break anything out. Lay the yosim haroilo, so to know something that's greater, more than he's fit to know. Lifi madrigaso. Now, I'm still not sure, like I say, what this means exactly. Okay, and ikra hachokma seichel is what? The seichel ha'emes hu hamuna is really to believe, is a fundamental belief in Hashem. Shehi klal ha'torah kamoshakasa, because Amuna is really the incorporation of the whole Torah. The rabbi last night was saying that his Rebbe told him that Amuna everybody always has. Every human being has this, because we come from someplace. He says, but the problem is this the same thing he's talking about, that the obstacle becomes so big that it neither stops your Amuna. You know that there's something out there called God. So he said that, but it gets so, overwhelmed by the obstacle that's in the way that you lose track of it. And you really worry only about the obstacle. This is once again, like in Rabbi Memran, I think, the same kind of idea. So it's called mitzvah sechel amuna. That's what it says about pasuk over there. Hainu shetzarichen lehisnachi b'kol davar al pi haTorah kedusha. And this is maybe this is the tzimtzum that he's talking about, that you have to have a certain lens as you look at the world as well. That's not an accident. The Marxists think that everything is atheistic. There's no force, just forces. They just, have no direction. Here we see that there actually is a seichel b'chol davar, and you could find out, you can see from this, the greatness of what the Borei Yisborach is doing, the Hiskar V'Yedeza, that is the obstacle itself. The thing that's going on in your life that you don't want, that you don't like, but it's coming anyway, and through this you can actually find your way to a higher level. So if you're able to understand this segment, so if you could see that this is all part of the same game, it says that to reach Hashem Yisbarach, you have to go. This is the path, he says. But if a person can't make his sichel, in other words, mind control, remove the monkey talk that Rabbi Memran talks about. Be able to listen, to be able to see that there is something going on, but that requires he says, a tzimtzum, sichlo, v'yismok al amuna, and then just go to that one place you know that Hashem is behind it. Ad sheyizke sheyizakech gufo, so he should be able to refine out. I guess he means karoe, he means his gufo, I guess he means the taivas libo. Az yizke l'havim karoe, then this he says that maybe there's a connection here. I'm thinking of myself, between the taivas of my heart, let's say, of the heart here, and the ability to be able to see beyond the obstacle. So maybe they all go together. Is it the taivas bring us to an obstacle, and then we can't see past the obstacle? He's telling us that you can, but you have to do it through the Torah, by refining your lens and realizing there's a munah behind the whole thing. I'll call upon him in any case. Afilu kol zaman she'einu mevin heitim. Any time the person really does not understand well, haseichel sheyesh b'chol davar. And once again, because you and I both have very strong just to say what Yaakov Cronenberg said. He's a Capricorn. He says Capricorn always looks at the world. I feel like I'm an Aquarius, but not Capricorn. But okay. So he said the Capricorn always looks at the world as full of obstacles. That's all it is, seeking the light behind it. He's a Kabbalist. He's a tremendous Kabbalist. And, he's seeking that light. That's what you want. You have to. That's the dark side of the year, the dark side of Capricorn. Maybe because it's really there and you want it. Because everything that exists, and he's talking once again about the obstacles, all of those things, they exist by seichel. That one seichel does the whole thing. He says v'seichel gadol ki akulam b'chochma sisa seichel v'akol b'shvil hiskarav al yedei zeh Hashem Yisbarach. The obstacles are there so that we should be able to get close to Hashem Yisbarach. L'hakir Hashem Yisbarach al yedei zecha kamo shekasav kol poel Hashem l'manehu. So let's see a little bit more. Let me see how I could do something else. Okay. So he says, Ki ikar habachira, the choice that a man has, Masha ein mivinim, v'roin, v'chochma, v'chasecho, shuhu, v'chachius, v'lukus, sheyesh b'chal davar. So let me translate it again, because I didn't go exactly what I thought. He says, the ikar of bachira, which is choice, Masha ein mevinin v'roin. So the eager choice is what he doesn't understand, and he's not able to see the chachma v'chasecho shuhu hachius alukus shehebedaber. Im koyach hakol roim zos. Because let's say like this. I guess he means to say that he says the bechira. So what does that mean? He says normally, what I would say normally, according to the Taivas Libi, let's say for example, he said that you won't be able to see this. So the choice is that you have a munah that actually you can choose to see this. And it's possible to be able to look at why Hashem is doing what he's doing. What is the seichel? Why is it happening? That actually may be no answer, but on the other hand, it's an invitation to be able to look into the panemius of it. Because let's say everybody saw this. He was able to see it, ayin ba'ayin, face to face. He wouldn't be no choice. It wouldn't choice. You couldn't choose this path. Everybody would be a chachma. Yizach be eager etzem atav v'haniimos and the special called davar asher ein lamala b'menu. If you could be able to understand, or be able to see in your seichel, or attach yourself to that seichel, and that's all you want is that seichel, which maybe I'm thinking that the seichel that we're talking about is beyond the obstacle. It's beyond the normal meaning of your life, which is to put food in your mouth and do what the different things you have to do, all these obstacles you must do to stay alive in this world. You could get into this. Let's go on. Omi Pasi, a person, a fool, Yaza the Hashlik Neimos Bato Kazeh, they'll throw this away. The Hamshech Ba'achar Akira V'gashmis of to be able to go after, once again, the type is Libo, the libidinal drives. Ak machma shach Hashem Yisbarach, and only because Hashem Yisbarach b'chachmaso, in his wisdom. Ha'elim ma'olam ha'chachma. So I think it means he hidden in that hiddenness, which is the world of chachma. Sheyesh b'kol davar, that's in everything. V'hi after l'chasigo ki'im ayedei avoid. If you want a life that where your mind is able to penetrate what's going on around you, you can only do this in one way. Ki al yedei avoid v'yagia rabba b'tayr of the mitzvahs. V'gam achar kach, then after this, after l'chasig b'zera b'olam ad tachlis achrom, it's impossible till you reach this ultimate purpose. Ki'im la'asi levo shetemalech ha'ochotz deya, where everybody then this will be there, to be seen. The Gemosha Kosev, it says like gam esa olam Nosson belibo mibli asher yimsa adam esa meiser abisha asa adokem mirosho v'ad sofo. Now I think I skipped this. I don't know why I didn't look it up. Let me look at it again. Maybe you'll help me here. Gam esa olam Nosson belibam. So the olam, I didn't put in their hearts. Mibli asher yimsa adam, without a situation where we find a man as Masa Asher Asa Elokim, the Maisim that Hashem actually, who is behind the Maisim, Mirosh Vad Sof. Rashi explains this phrase to mean what? Ha'olam Chaser, the world is missing. What is it missing? What is the world missing? Ksiv Lashon Ha'elam, Ha'ilim, Habrios. It's something that's hidden, perhaps within hiddennesses from people. And that's because, and as a result of that, these are the places that people can't find. They can't recognize as a Ma'aser Ha'asa Elokim Mirosh V'Ad Hainusha Nasi called Dover Mirosh V'Ad Sofu Shuhu Pnimiu Shuhu Chasechu Sheyesh Bo Shuhu Bechinas Rosh Bechinas Rosh Megirah Shamayim. Now, I have to go over this again. It's a lot of words, and it's based over there. Let me just see it again. He says like that, V'zechu mibli asher yimsa ha'adam es a ma'isa. If he can't find what the ma'isa, he said, what's this ma'isa? Asher asa ha'loken, that Hashem did it. In other words, the origin of what appears before you, you can't find it. Mirosh Vad Sof, because he actually completed the whole thing. I'm using the word obstacle too much. But let's say that the problems that life brings, he says that you have to realize from the beginning and the end of what actually appears before you, all had an origin in the Elokim. Nasig called Davim Barosh V'Ratsofa, that a person should be able to reach the origin of all of this that just happened, Shuchu Pnimiusa, which is its inside. So Shenase goes ad sofa shuhu chitzoniyusa v'gashmiyusa, that he should be able to reach towards it ad sofa until you reach the absolute end of it. Now I was thinking he was thinking the other way. It's all of that taiva, all of that physicality that a person has in his life. The hasika kol ech mukushara miyuchadim yachad. To understand this, to reach all of this, ech mukusharim miyuchadim yachad, how everything actually is really one thing. So I was going to say something about what is the greatest obstacle in a man's life is his wife. Because that is the home, and that is the source of all of the places where the shomrim, which he was talking about before, need to take place. Because the family unit in serving Hashem is the most important thing. So he says that that's like in astrology, they say your wife is your open enemy because of opposites. It's just the way that God made the world. So that even the real completion of it will not take place until that time. So oz nasig v'neda kol masha na'asa b'zeh ha'olam, then the person can understand everything that he's done in this world. Now this is a long piece, and I'm continuing on with it, so I want to get to the end of this paragraph. I'm really running out a little bit of steam, so let's see if I can find the hook here and get back into the Penemius, sheyesh b'chol davar, and even in this reading of this right here. V'kol masha kiven Hashem yizborach b'briyas ha'odel v'kol asher bo han chagaso kol yemei olam merosha v'rad sof. Okay, machmer sha'ata I efsher lachasig v'lachave b'seichel sheyesh b'chol davar. Okay, yesh koich ha'bechira. So therefore, since normally you can never find this, so therefore we have a choice. V'yisrach hakadoshim ma'aminim, our holy Jewish people ma'aminim b'Moshe Rabbeinu, that we believe in Moshe Rabbeinu v'Torah v'kol tzadikim sha'achra v'cholchim b'darkeichem v'ma'aminim b'chol davar sheyesh b'pnimius kiyus v'lukus shuchaseichel sheyesh b'chol davar shuhu tachlisa. And they go into everything. All of these people who have worked on themselves and worked through their lives, through their time on the earth. And when you do this, what you're doing is you're taking and you're tying up the Kitzonim Elapanemius. The Kitzonis to the Panemius which is the main part of this ability to be able to find the mind that is behind all things. The people that get into this, they can get tremendous place in their lives, in their souls. They also focus the world and look at the world because they maintain the Torah has restrictions. It holds us back. Because the main part of the tikkun is this simson, which we said before, is the hismatus of the light, and to be able to reach it in its smallest place. What about them? Rotzim lihisbainin lihistakal l'seichels, and now he's going to this idea, which is very popular today, that everybody, all the mechakrim and all the rishoyim are involved in this. The histakal l'seichel shechesh b'chol davar above ein lechem simsim b'sichlim, but they don't have a way to be able to contract their focus of their minds. V'osim amaises zimrim b'vakshim chochma b'seichel benchos. So this is them. That they add the Maisa Rebechem Mamish, Umashukoyim Bekol Atavus, Ma'od Rotzim Lahakor, Kibra Bekol Dover, Lahavim, Kol Dover, Ba'amko, Machma Zecha Nevolchu, Ma'od Bekam Deus Zaros, Vipikursa, so we have communism and different kinds of flavors of this and that, all of these different messes. But that's not the portion of our father Yaakov. Okay, in Yisrael, let me just find a place here. So, okay, in Yisrael, Shenekroim Kulim Tzadikim, Heim B'Misazim Kuroim Chaim. When they're dead, they're called alive. Gamosha Amar Abbaseinu Zal, Tzadikim B'Misazim Kuroim Chaim. He called Abba the saying that we gave saying the that after we're no longer physically present in this world, and the person is able to get up at the resurrection of the dead. This is where the ultimate perfection, the receiving of the reception of this reward. That the day is now to do these things. For the machar and the morning, that's the day, that's the night, that's the morning. Hayom la'asosim, that v'lamachar, the nata ki az nasig b'shleimus kol masha avra b'zecha odem, because then he'll be able to appreciate, to really understand all that was going on in this world. Oz neder of v'navim hetev, haseichel shel kol dover, that in fact there is at that point, we'll be able to see the seichel that we have in everything. Shezeh yihi hakibul sachar. This, the reward that we're actually looking toward. This, I think he's saying, is that we can't, as we're here now, be able to understand the mind. That mind, what's going on with us. So somebody's talking about Rabbi Akiva, so I guess Reb Morgenstern was talking about Rabbi Akiva. How could this be possibly his reward? It's not possible to understand it. But he's saying here that in the Techiyas Amazing, that is exactly what you will understand. That you'll be able to see what the Almighty has done, because, this is, Rav Schick used to say that you can only understand something when you get to the end of it. When you get to the end of it, then you can now see that there is an end, and there was something before that. You will look at it here. And that's the mind. So we live forever. Because we could take all those obstacles of the difficulty at that time and make it penimius, tamid. This comes through our Torah. This is how we'll be able to refine ourselves. His chavrus. So this, let me tell you, he says, this is the main source of life. Now, I know, you probably don't know my background, but I was really a graduate student in psychology. So I was going to be a clinical psychologist, probably in a school setting. And I couldn't work this out because there was no toich there. It's just different things that people did. And I needed toich. I found Moshe Rabbeinu, and that's how I got over here. So I want to say that a lot of what I think is always in terms of male-female relationships. Because he's saying like this, what is the Chikra HaChaim? Which is the Nuk, the Zeranpin. You want to say it's purely Kabbalistic terms. Imna Pnimius, which is Zeranpin. When those two things can come together, he says, so there you see the goof is your house, the place you live in that has to be guarded. And the penimius is what you always want to bring penimius into that. And that is I think, the marriage relationship. It's very difficult, so we know that marriage is difficult. But at any rate, that's my view. Thanks for learning with me. I'm out of steam.
Have a good Yom Tov.
You too. A beautiful Yom Tov.